I guess it's my turn to tell my stories. So they may be all jumbled up. They may not go in a certain order because once I start talking about one, I remember a different one. And there is no timeline. Timelines do not exist in my universe. So I guess we'll start with my first story, which is the Shadow Man. Now, a lot of people have their own stories with the Shadow Man. They believe that a Shadow Man is usually a kind of evil person that you see when you are experiencing a thing called sleep paralysis. And I know for a fact that I never experienced sleep paralysis. I've never once had sleep paralysis, which is very interesting, knowing who I am and the things I bring into my home. I'm very surprised I've never had a moment like sleep paralysis. I don't think I know anybody who's had sleep paralysis. I think Skylar had sleep paralysis. She made a video about it, but I don't know if you can find that video because I think she deleted her channel. So it may be somewhere on the internet. We don't know. We'll figure that out later. I wouldn't say it's sleep paralysis, but everybody I've told the story to who doesn't believe it's a spirit or something else, they always say it's sleep paralysis. When I know for a fact that sleep paralysis, you can't really move, can't really do a lot. You're just laying in your bed and you're terrified. Yes, I was very terrified, but I could move. I know I could move. I just didn't want to get up because I was afraid that someone was in the house and I was afraid that they would come after me. So yeah, I just call this dude the shadow person because I know shadow people and the Shadow Man are different. A lot of people say that the Shadow Man actually wears a hat instead of just being a shadowy figure. So let's get down to the story and not have me rambling on all the time. Okay, anyways, so when I was a small child, a very small child, our dad, who I will refer to as my father at this moment of time because she was not born yet, lived with me and my mom, and then he moved out. And so for a while it was just me, my mom, and our little dog. And I always want to mention that my dad did not live with me at the time, so people understand that the shadowy figure should not be there in the first place. When I was very little, I was terrified of the dark, even though I had night lights and everything. I was just terrified of the dark, and I would not sleep in my room for a long time by myself. I would end up sleeping in my mom's room, and by the time I was asleep, she would wake up and take me to my room, and then in the morning I would wake up like, how did I get here? But you know, little childhood stuff. Anyway, so my mom would keep the door open so she could carry me out of the room, or if we ever need to use the bathroom or get water, we can leave the room quickly. And from where I was laying, I could see my bedroom and a little closet in between my bedroom and another room I called my playroom. This is just where all my toys were, and that was also the changing room for me when I was a baby. That's an interesting fact that nobody needed to know. Anyway, I used to call that room my playroom, and it was right by my bedroom. It was just simply to keep my toys and everything else separated and to have a little room for me to play in because it was an extra room in the house that nobody really used, so we just used that for my playroom. And I could see this little closet, and I was just looking out there, and there was a shadowy figure of a man. And I was a whole bunch of different things. I was confused. I was scared. I didn't know who this was. I thought somebody was in the house, and at the same time, I didn't really think it was that strange for some reason. It felt normal, and it felt as if me and the shadowy figure was staring at each other for a very long time. After staring at each other for a very long time, the shadowy figure walked away, and it walked into my playroom. And I woke up my mom after I saw that happen, and I told her what happened, and she told me that I was just having a nightmare, when I knew for a fact it's not true, because I've been awake the entire time. And ever since I was a kid, even now, it takes a long time for me to fall asleep. It will take until like 5 a.m. sometimes for me to go to sleep, which is a really bad sleeping habit, and I need to work on that. But we're gonna talk about that later.
Heard them say